Live.
Are we live?
I feel
Are
alive.
we I feel alive.
I feel alive
Yes,
for
but
the
I live.
first time in a long time.
Happy Snake Month, Will.
Happy Snake Month, David.
Happy Snake Month, everybody, and welcome to our Snake Month live stream. As usual, please let us know in the chat if you can see us and hear us okay. Make sure that all of the audio and the video and all of the components are working. I've got to turn the ad off on my thing over here. And welcome. This is July. July is Snake Month. Snake Month is named in honor of World Snake Day, which is tomorrow, July 16th, World Snake Day. We have been celebrating snakes all month long here on Common Descent. We've got a whole lot of fun Snake Month stuff happening, which we'll talk a bit about. Just like last month's Croc Month live stream, we're going to chit chat about the reptiles of the hour. I've got a bunch of snake related news that I will pull up and we can talk about what's new in the world of snakes over the last year or so. And you folks say stuff in the comments. We'll read it. We'll chit chat with you. And we will generally have a good old snaky time. And it'll be good. It'll be easy because snakes are easy to have a good time about. I must say, I have not seen any snakes during Snake Month outside of the one that lives here.
Yes.
I did go looking. Nora and I went camping over the summer, and there were reports of snakes, but I did not see any. But they were there, and that's good.
Yes.
That's good to it's good to know that they're out there.
Snakes are one of those where you can trust that they are nearby. You know that they are within supportive distance, but you're not likely to see them unless you're lucky.
Yes, this is very true. Look at all these people who are here. Jackie's here, Ali is here, Zelfie is here, Dino Nerd, Lydia. Whoop, I'm just adjusting my thing so that I can see better, but I can't just yet. And Lucy is here. Anybody else who's here, hop in. Let us know that you're here and hanging out. Dino Nerd said, I loved the Viper episode. Ali said, I loved the length of the Viper episode. Agree. I had a ton of fun. We sat down to record the Viper episode, and I was like, Will, this is going to be a big one.
And it's Vipers.
Strap in. We're going to be here for a while. Vipers, so cool. So much fun stuff to talk
They're
about.
such a cool group. Like, we said it many times, many different ways in that episode. They're just so awesome.
Yeah. I've got some snake news to talk about, but before we get into that, a couple of reminders. We are halfway through Snake Month, which means number one, if you're not already hanging out in the Discord on the Snake Stuff channel, you can. Lots of fun conversations about snakes, lots of fun pictures of snakes. I got to put up some snake pictures myself in the Snake Stuff. Also, the Snakes and Crocs tier is open over on Patreon. So you can hop over there to support us and support donations that we'll be making towards reptile and other wildlife conservation. Later on in the summer, we'll be donating to Save the Snakes, Crocodile Research Coalition, and the Natural Resources Defense Council to, make the world a better place for snakes and for everybody else.
Yeah.
Dino Nerd did a donation. Thank you so much. For the snakes. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. You know what we should do that I had not considered up until this point? Donations that we get during the live stream should also contribute to those charitable donations that we'll be making later in the summer.
Yeah.
Let's do that. We'll factor those in. So, Dino Nerd, thank you so much. We're going to roll you right in to those charitable donations. We appreciate it immensely. Incredible. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, last month we did our Croc Month live stream, and then on World Croc Day, we released a bonus episode, a super special bonus episode with a friend of ours named Maddie, who had recently finished her master's research on alligators. And we are doing the same thing this month. Tomorrow on World Snake Day, we will be releasing a Snake Month bonus episode with another friend of the podcast who also recently finished a master's research project on snakes. That particular guest for tomorrow's episode may, in fact, be in the chat right now. Ooh, a name that you may recognize.
Yep. Yeah.
Zachary said, hello, I've been so keen for this since the Croc live stream. You both answered my convergent evolution question in a way that absolutely made my day. Thank you both. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. No, it's so much fun getting to do the Q&As on these, because those kinds of fun questions are the best.
Yes. We love it. We love it. Yeah, as we always say, we love getting the chance to interact with our audience, with our listeners. So yeah, give us your comments, give us your questions, participate. While we're waiting on that, I got some snake news that I could talk about.
Tell me about it.
Uh, some fun stuff has happened in the last several months. One thing, starting us off with conservation related stuff, California got a state snake last year.
Oh, cool.
In October of 2025, the California governor signed Senate Bill 765, which designates Thamnophis gigas, the giant garter snake, as the state snake of California. This is a species that is endemic to the wetlands of the Central Valley of California. It is also threatened. It is the largest known species of garter snakes and also among the most aquatic species of garter snakes. More
Neat.
like its water snake cousins.
Very neat.
Not only is it very exciting for California to get, first of all, every state should have a state snake. I actually don't know off the top of my head how many states have a state snake. But if the number's less than 50, we're messing up.
Yes.
So get on it. But also an incredible example of how to make that happen. This law was the result of a multi-year campaign led by Save the Snakes,
Right.
the organization that we will be donating to. And we did our first Snake Month. We had Hero Nike on from Save the Snakes to talk with us about snakes. Save the Snakes in partnership with another senator, Senator Niello, and the California Rice Commission. So this is not only an important step for conservation, it is also an important result of conservation efforts, which is very, very cool.
Yeah, that's neat. Like, you don't often think about how we get these kinds of things put into place. Like, you just hear about national days and state thises and that's is very fun to know some of the people who were involved with this process.
Yeah. Ali, who is from California, says also our state rock is serpentine, which is very fun. Also, California, arguably the most snake-shaped state.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do think that is fair to say.
So, Jackie asks, are there snakes in Alaska? I don't believe there are any native snakes in Alaska. I guess the only thing that I could think of is like if sea snakes get up to like Alaskan islands, but I don't know that they go up that far north.
When I feel, why would they? Like, why would you?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Like,
if I was a snake.
That just seems like the wrong waters for snakes.
Yeah. But I could be wrong. If anybody knows, let me know. I think that this means that Alaska just gets its pick. Or Alaska's state snake is a fossil snake.
Yes, that was
I bet the Prince Creek Formation has snakes in it.
Surely. Mm-hmm. Surely.
Yes, yes, yes.
Very neat.
Lydia says, I'm surprised they didn't pick the Santa Catalina Island rattlesnake. A very good point. And indeed, speaking of conservation efforts surrounding island-dwelling snakes, Another exciting thing that happened, this was also last year, was the rediscovery of the Barbados thread snake,
Oh.
which is very exciting. So Barbados is an island within an island nation within the Caribbean. There are, like so many islands around the world, tons of habitat loss and invasive species have caused lots of degradation to the local ecosystems. And a lot of recent extinctions have included reptiles.
Hmm.
Barbados skinks, Barbados racers, which is another species of snakes. But in recent years, NGO Rewild, an organization, has been investigating the status of other species, like specifically going to going to Barbados, and can we find these threatened and endangered species? Can we get a status update? Since 2017, according to them, they have rediscovered 15 species that hadn't been seen in over a decade,
Cool.
which is very exciting. And last year, they reported rediscovering Barbados thread snakes, which have not been seen for 20 years.
Wow.
And in fact, there have only been a handful of confirmed sightings since the 1800s.
Wow.
This makes sense if you know anything about thread snakes. These are tiny, tiny, tiny little snakes. This species is around typically 3 to 4 inches long.
Yeah.
So easy to miss. They noted they found one beneath a rock underneath a tree root. So,
Crazy.
first record of these snakes in this, I guess, almost this whole century.
Yep. Yep.
I don't remember when they said the last one was, but possibly this century.
That's neat. Yeah, that's one of the tough things with animals like that, but snakes in this case. Tiny species are really hard to keep track of. Like
Yes.
it's very much like when we talk about how we're not good at underground. Like we're not good at observing or studying or tracking what's going on underground. Same thing goes for itty bitty bitty stuff. Like,
Yeah. Well, this is why so many new species of frogs and
yep.
insects and stuff are named every year because it's easy to miss.
Well, and it feels like this size category is in some ways arguably the worst because if you're smaller than this, like the way we often find itty bitty insects and like tardigrades and isopods and mites is like by just scooping up a bunch of soil and then sifting through it in a lab under a microscope and finding
Yes.
things. Same way we find new species of plankton and stuff is just by scooping up some seawater or some sea sediment and then going, yep, look, there it is. But
There it
this
is.
animal's too big to survey that way, but too small for all the other ways we survey stuff. So it feels like that range of animal is kind of potentially a blind spot for a lot of typical
Yeah,
scientific approaches.
for sure. Lydia asks if being tiny means zoos can easily make space for captive breeding, which, in theory, yes,
Hmm.
right? Captive breeding of smaller species, all else being equal, is easier. Right? It's
Yes.
easier to breed mice than elephants. I actually don't know what the captive breeding situation is for thread snakes and blind snakes.
Hmm.
These are subterranean. They eat larvae. Lucy asked, "Do they take down prey?" These snakes are usually going after grubs and insect larvae and stuff underground or worms. Um, as Ali points out, Ali, who is a snake researcher,
Hmm.
um, they are ant or termite specialists
Yep.
in some cases, and that's tough. That can be tough to maintain.
Yep.
So I don't actually know um, how good a job we have managed to do at breeding in captivity these snakes.
Yeah. Well, and once again, it's not an easy animal for us to. It's like those movies you see when like a human befriends the Iron Giant and
Hmm.
characters like that. And then shenanigans ensue as the giant struggles to deal with how tiny their new friend is. It's that kind of thing. Like we could make an enclosure for a small little snake like this probably pretty easily, and I'm sure we could figure out how to get it fed. I don't know how easy it would
Hmm.
be, but I'm sure we could figure that out. But then, like, you need to monitor it. You need to do, updates. Are they? How do you do a health check on a snake that small? And
Yeah.
if it doesn't want to come out for the health check, do you dig it up? Or do you just wait
Hmm.
until you get to see it again? Like that happens with animals in human care that are tricky like this and are secretive. Is it's just like, well, we haven't seen it in a week. We're hoping they're just feeling shy right now, or
Yes.
they may have been dead for up to a week. Uh,
Well, my snake, I've had that happen where he'll just disappear for a week.
yeah,
And I'm like, I mean, probably he's just hiding under the litter and like
yep,
getting ready to shed or something. But I
yeah,
a couple times I have gone in and like poked around until I found him, and then his tail goes brrr, and I'm like,
yep,
all right,
yep,
cool. And my snake is like 3 feet long
yeah, yep,
and not a dedicated burrower. But even this snake is able to completely conceal itself in the litter for days and days at a time.
yeah. It's animals are very good at that kind of stuff. So you just have that moment. Like, I assume I still have a snake until I
Yes.
get definitive evidence to the contrary. Yeah.
Well,
So
till
like,
it starts smelling.
yes, exactly. So animals like this do pose a challenge. The truth is, uh, probably they would not be given like a you know display enclosure of any kind, and
Yeah.
animals like this like would probably be in effectively a glorified Tupperware. Like,
Well, and not being on display also makes it a harder sell for a zoo,
yep.
unfortunately, because that is one of the ways that you can multitask, right? You're doing
Hmm.
captive breeding, but you're also using them for education and you're also securing funding. If it can't be used for display purposes, that's one notch against it being
Yeah.
a useful and suitable zoo animal.
This is why stuff like AZA is so important, because AZA, part of the initiative is this kind of stuff, regardless of the
Mhm.
front facing. That, like,
Yeah.
the sea turtle rescue stuff that we did at my aquarium, none of that was public facing because these are sick turtles. They don't need to be out where people can see or
Yes.
tap. But that was part of that initiative. So if your museum doesn't have that in place, then this is just not only a thing that takes up space, but takes up someone's time and may need a dedicated person to this, area. Like, it is gets more complicated more quickly than you'd think. But yeah, I
Yep.
I'd assume we can figure it out, but uh surprisingly tricky.
Jackie says there are snakes that are ant and termite specialists. Yes. Again, typically larvae.
Mhm.
They're going after like the grubs and stuff. This is pretty common in blind snakes and thread snakes. These are scolycophidian snakes. They tend to be itty bitty. Like, so they're called thread snakes for a reason.
Yep.
Right? They are so small. And we talked about this some years ago. There was a study that did, I think this was at Stony Brook, that did video recording of how, I forget which species it was, but how they fed, and their jaws just went brrrr
Yep,
and like
yep.
slurped up the larvae.
Like,
Yes. Yeah. Uh, Jackie says that seems like not a very snaky food. I think that like full grown ants and termites would be a slightly strange
yes.
snake food, But larvae, I mean, that's basically just a worm or a fish or a slug.
Mm-hmm.
That you just slurp that up.
Well, and it's the snakes that get our attention are almost all exclusively like rodent and bigger specialists. Like
Yeah.
almost every snake that you're ever going to see in a documentary is going to be eating birds or rodents or eggs or like a deer or like, you know, a pig or something, like
Yes.
is going to be
Or
eating
maybe
something.
frogs.
Yes. But there's a ton of snake. I remember when I first learned that how many snakes are slug eaters, are slug specialists.
Yeah.
I was like, what? First off, gross.
Ew.
Yeah, and like
Why would you choose that?
you have to swallow it whole, like because you're a snake, so you just gotta
I mean,
loogie it down.
I
Ugh.
think swallowing it whole would be how I would prefer to eat a slug.
Yeah, but like,
I don't want to bite it. I don't want to bite into a slug.
but if it's a slug as big as your head, like that's the part is like your
Yeah.
throat is all slug right now. This is not like someone being like, I can take pills without water. You know, one of those people that
Yes.
this isn't like that. This is I eat my cantaloupe without chewing.
This is your body is a burrito full of slug.
Yeah, and it's so gross looking. I've watched videos, and it's just there's slime trails and strands, and so yeah. But like, they're actually really good at soft-bodied prey.
Yeah. Zelfia asked, David, does the snake accessory have a name? What species is it supposed to be? This is a snaky scarf that I will admit, off the top of my head, I do not remember who made this and sent it over.
Oh, I can find out.
I don't remember the name. Do you have the name? Whoever it was, I believe, made both of us scarves.
Yes.
Will's got a crop one somewhere. I don't know if I don't think it's supposed to be a specific species. I think it's just meant to be like a cool snake. This was from a couple of years ago, I think. So will dutifully pull up the name here in a minute, hopefully.
Yes. Scrolling through.
Yes.
As my computer.
So while you look for that, also Jackie did suggest that perhaps Florida is the most snake-shaped state. To which I say, stop it. While you're looking that up, I got another fun news here. This is from earlier this year. This is on the similar topic of snake ecology and interactions with humans. This is about dispersal habits of Indian cobras. This was a paper. This was published in Biotropica. Specifically looking at Western Ghats king cobras in Western India. So effectively, this study was like, all right, what's the distribution? Can we find ways that these snakes are, patterns in their distribution? They compiled records of rescued snakes, sightings, local reports, historical data, all sorts of different stuff. In total, they identified 47 locations where Western Ghats king cobras had been spotted. And then they used data of the local climate and vegetation to map like what seems to be the preferred habitat. And from there, can we infer where else they might be? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the map mostly aligned with the records, but 5 of the reports fell well outside of the predicted range from their models. And all 5 of those reports were alongside busy railways.
Interesting.
This on top of the fact that there have been recent reports of snakes on trains or in rail yards in India, the researchers proposed the hypothesis that some snakes might be dispersing to new habitats by accidentally riding trains
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
that they crawl onto, right? Into a nice, dark, secluded spot on a train.
Mhm.
And then the train takes off. And now the snake is somewhere else. They point out if now this is 5 reports and some sightings. So, not a ton of data to suggest that this is happening in any major capacity. But this could mean that populations are being spread to new places.
Mhm.
It could be a new form of connecting different habitats. And obviously, since this study was focused on cobras, a new potential avenue for danger for people.
Yes.
That if cobras are moving to new places, or if there's a snake on your train car, that could be a source of danger for people. So they
Yes.
suggest more research to genetic testing or camera traps to support this hypothesis and see if, in fact, the cobras are riding trains around India.
Very cool. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Like, at first, I was starting to think of like, are the tracks a particularly good like dispersal? Is it something reason they're following it? The train cars makes a lot of like they do that with cars. They'll get up into the engines, up into
Yep.
the undercarriage of cars, either to hide away up in the nooks and crannies or because it's a warm piece of metal. It
Yes.
heats up differently than the environment around. So, it might be a nice ideal spot to warm up and then it starts moving.
Yeah. Well, in a train, there's tons of space
Oh yeah.
for them to get into, and like that's in. And you have to imagine there are other animals. Like I
Mhm.
don't know how often rats and mice are getting into trains, but I imagine it's not infrequently.
Oh yeah.
And so these snakes might be chasing their prey onto these vehicles.
That's very cool. It's one of those notes of there's the obvious ways we affect the environment, you know,
Right.
deforestation and overhunting and, pollution or pesticide, blah, blah, blah. Every now and then we get reminded of like everything we do on this planet could potentially throw some weird monkey wrench into the way ecosystems work. Like,
Hmm.
nothing we do is actually detached from nature. It just feels like it most of the time.
Yeah. So if you are taking a train across India, watch where you step, I
Right?
guess.
I'm picturing cobras with sacks on sticks over their non-existent shoulders uh as they ride the rails.
There, I was trying to think because Lydia made the joke that was in my head, which is call Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
And I was trying to think of fictional examples of snakes on trains, and the only example that I'm coming up with is Bullet Train, which does have, I forget what they say the snake is.
It's a ooh,
Was it like a taipan or something?
I want to say taipan.
It might have been a taipan, and the snake is very clearly not
Yes.
whatever it is that they're suggesting that it is.
Yep.
But it was very cool to see a snake on a train.
Yep, yep.
Also, Bullet Train, super fun movie.
Oh, so much fun. It's one of my favorites. Uh yeah, there's also something very funny about snakes being transported on a very snake-shaped vehicle.
Very consistent.
Yeah, like
Snakes
the
aren't riding around in
synergy.
boxcars.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's there. The PR's good. We can work with this.
um, there's some new people here. Dutch Tunicate official is here. Hello, hello. Aracaria says, jealous of that beard.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And Brian is here. Hello, Brian.
Welcome.
Brian from the Gaming with Science podcast. Go check him out.
Hi, Brian.
Ali says that they call it a boom slang. That's what it was.
Okay,
They say that it is
yep.
Boom slang. Yes. Other than that, good movie.
I remember it was a B name, but the only one that was coming to my mind was Bushmaster, and I knew that wasn't correct, but I couldn't think of the other name. Yeah, it is a very that happens in movies just every now and then where they're like, and now an animal shows up, and it's going to be cartoonishly wrong.
Well, and it's funny because snakes are one of those groups of animals that you can get away with that.
Mm-hmm.
Where like you can't point at a tiger and call it a jaguar in a movie. At least not anymore. There was a time where you could get away with that kind of thing. But like no one's buying into that.
Mm-hmm.
But snakes, there's so many of them and people are generally unfamiliar with them that you can get away with it.
And for last month's creatures, same things happened with all the time of like a crocodile and then just very clearly an American alligator.
Yes. Nakonomicon said there's a subreddit dedicated to birds taking trains. Perhaps the snakes are after the birds. It could be.
Yeah.
I don't know if cobras, to my knowledge, I think cobras are often reptile predators.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're often going after lizards and other snakes. I don't know how common it is for cobras to go after birds. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, it's like surely they're capable of it, but
yes,
neat.
Lydia asks, "Does the mass transit in Zootopia have something for the snakes to hold on to? Just those like the bars.
Mm-hmm.
They could just like crawl up around those bars. I think that would suffice.
I wonder how like if a snake is down flat on the ground, how bad would it be, or would they just have enough traction that it's not that bad? Like you can't tip a snake over.
This is true.
Like you can't go snake tipping. So like what? As long as they're not sliding around the car like like tin cans and stuff.
Well, and buses and trains tend not to have like particularly smooth floors.
Yeah.
There's usually like some traction on those floors. So yeah, they might not need to hold on to something.
Like a bullet train might have enough G's when it starts up that they need to wrap around one of the poles, but just wrap around a pole and
just the train starts and the snake just one roll over. Speaking on a related thing, Brian asks favorite snakes in fiction, and Ellie points out Ka from the Jungle Book, which is an excellent choice. Ali points out Rattlesnake Jake, which is from what's the name?
Rango.
Rango, that's it.
Yep. I haven't seen this movie yet. I've been meaning to, but I've seen the clips of Rattlesnake Jake, and he's awesome.
Nora and I watched like half of Rango, and we weren't like super excited about it. But Rattlesnake Jake does look and act very cool.
Yep.
Like a rattlesnake as a cowboy, as like a desperado, that's awesome.
Yes. That's
such a good, absolutely. That's so good.
Yep. Yeah.
Zelfia asks, does Viper from Kung Fu Panda count as a favorite snake from fiction? Absolutely.
Viper's fantastic. Awesome. I love Viper.
Viper is Lucy Liu, isn't it? I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Very fun. One of my favorites, which I know is also one of your favorites, is Hiss from Robin Hood.
Sir Hiss.
Sir Hiss is so good.
Yes. Who I just had one and then it disappeared. There's a lot of fun snake like villains in things. In fact,
Yes.
I think all of the ones we've named so far, except for Viper, are there is in Super Mario 3D World. There's Histocrat, which is a boss who is who has an awesome theme song.
Yeah. Uh.
Um, Zachary points out Anaconda.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Ali says, I was once in a D&D campaign where we fought basically Rattlesnake Jake, but made of fire.
Nice.
Incredible.
That has been talking about non-villain examples. The only one that came up as in my mind is also a video game, which is God of War. You get to meet Jormungandr. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
and it's a great version. Jormungandr is so awesome in those games.
In Donkey Kong Bonanza, there's a whole level that is inhabited by snake people,
Cool.
and they're so good. They're just like these adorable snake people. They're awesome.
Nice.
Um, Arakaria asks, is there any feasible way snakes could evolve herbivory? I'm sure there is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just difficult to imagine how they would do it.
Yeah.
Snakes have a very carnivorous, geared digestive system. They also don't chew, which most herbivorous animals are either chewing their food or using like gizzard or crop or whatnot. But most herbivorous animals are also big. Like they
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of gut space to do the digesting that they need to do. Um, so snakes would kind of have to change everything about them
Yep.
in order to be effective herbivores.
I have a speculative suggestion. Here's my pitch, boss. So we need a
So you
snake.
got a new snake for me?
So yeah, yep. So we talked about in herbivory and in some other examples of herbivory showing up that sometimes what happens is eating an animal that is an herbivore can start to
Yes.
get you, like, you're gonna be eating whatever they ate, so you will be eating some vegetation, and you'll get the bacteria that they have that is good at breaking down that vegetation. It may just be because we talked about them earlier, but blind snake type snakes eating termites
Yeah, I was also thinking this.
are eating that, and they have weird mobility to their jaws.
That's true.
That feels like it, like that. So the way I heard it described in the documentary I saw was that they move like saloon doors, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and that, like, that feels like that could be adjusted for a chewing grinding mechanism for very small
Yeah.
vegetation. The one hiccup is I'm pretty sure they would need to start hunting adult termites, because I don't think the larvae
Yes.
are gonna have the gut biota yet, because they're not born with it. They have to get it. Um
Yeah. So it's possible in theory. Whether or not it is feasible um, is tricky.
well, and I feel like if we got an herbivorous snake, it it would be something weird like that, where it's like, yeah, it's
Yes.
like, for instance, there is a omnivorous shark. The bonnethead
Yes.
shark has been shown to purposely take kelp into its diet and can break it down. So it
Mm-hmm.
does take in both animal and plant matter, but it's not fully eating kelp. That's not its main diet. This is also a very small shark. Like, bonnet heads max out at like a few feet long. They're very small. So I think it would be one of those where we would discover of like, ooh, this one weird worm snake technically is omnivorous, but only technically.
Yes. That's kind of what I would expect if it happened.
Mm-hmm.
What were these questions? Oh, Dutch Tunicate said, I was surprised to learn that rattlesnakes are vipers. And Malicious Monkey said, I was surprised to learn that sidewinders were rattlesnakes. Yeah, lots of surprises in the Viper episode. Not the only sidewinding snakes. Somebody actually sent us an email, I think, about that. Yeah, there are lots of different groups of snakes that do sidewinding. Also, Ellie asks, are cobras monophyletic or have a bunch of different lineages convergently evolved flaring hoods? I believe that the flaring hood has evolved at least a couple times because false cobras do it and they are not cobras. And I think that's independently evolved. And then there are plenty of snakes that flatten out their head and neck. So, like hognose snakes do that. Lots of snakes flatten. So there is, we haven't done, someday we'll talk about cobras on the podcast, and I'm sure there is a spectrum from no flaring to having a full hood. So that similar behaviors have evolved multiple times, and I think like proper hoods have evolved at least a couple times.
Yeah. Which is what a crazy thing for you just to do multiple times.
Speaking of snake herbivory, another one of the newses that I have here, which is from some time not too long ago, is a paper that explores the potential of snakes as seed dispersal agents.
Oh.
Because, like Will pointed out, snakes are not eating plants, but they are eating animals that eat plants.
Yeah.
This is research by Mariana Acevedo et al. In the Royal Society of Open Science. We'll put all the links in the Discord. Basically, they were like, we don't know, can snakes act as disperse? Like, can snakes help spread seeds? So they collected a bunch of seeds from a foothill Palo Verde tree at the Desert Botanical Garden in Phoenix, Arizona. Then they inserted the seeds into lab mice that were used as snake food, and they fed them to diamondback rattlesnakes collected in Arizona and New Mexico. In total, they reported 6 feeding events with a total of 675 seeds. So they packed these rats with seeds.
Like hiding pills in a thing of cheese.
Yes.
They had to hold the snake's mouth shut. Make sure it
you have to
swallowed.
hold it. You gotta make sure it swallows. You tickle the throat.
Yep. Come on. Which is way harder for a snake because you have to do
tickle
the way down.
all the way down.
All.
After the snakes had eaten the seed infested mice, they collected the seeds from the snake poop. So the seeds were not digested, or at least not all of them. Seeds were recoverable from the poop. Then they noted that they fed the seeds to the snakes in the summer and fall, and then stored them through the winter, and then in the spring tried to see if these seeds could still grow. And what they found is not only did the seeds still grow, but germination success, about a quarter of the seeds successfully germinated, which was the same as uneaten seeds.
Cool.
So being swallowed by a mouse and then swallowed by a snake did not affect the ability of the seeds to grow in any way. And they noted that seeds planted within snake poop did germinate better than seeds planted not in snake poop. So snakes can disperse seeds, and their poop is just as good fertilizer as you would expect poop to be.
That's awesome.
It's so good.
Plants are so ridiculous.
And then there's another one here that I was so excited to read about. Speaking of snakes eating and getting nutrition and stuff, which I alluded to in the Vipers episode, this is research about how rattlesnakes uh, collect water in the desert.
Right.
Um, a lot of animals that live in really dry places have to be clever in how they find water. This is research in Current Zoology by Madison McIntyre et al., looking at prairie rattlesnake rain harvesting. So, collecting rainwater to then drink. They found, so a lot of other lizards and snakes are known to drink up rainwater as it collects in the environment. Even sea snakes do this.
Right.
Sea snakes have been observed drinking puddles of rainwater off the surface of the ocean. It's wild.
Awesome.
In this, they did an experimental study where they simulated rainfall on 94 prairie rattlesnakes, which I assume means they sprinkled water onto rattlesnakes. And then observed. And what they found is that while being rained on, the snakes often flattened the body and coiled to provide more surface area for the rain to collect. And then they were seen drinking the water that pooled on their bodies, and in some cases, tilting the body to like pour the water toward their mouth as they were drinking it. And in large aggregations, the snakes also commonly drank water off of each other.
That's so cool.
The paper noted that one record in their whole study, they noticed one instance of two snakes simultaneously drinking water off of each other.
Delightful.
Which is so good.
That's awesome. Well, and
it's awesome.
Like you said, you have to be clever to survive in the desert, but also you are an animal who, rare among animals, can reach almost every inch of your own body.
Yes.
Like, other than the back of your head and the base of your neck. Like,
yeah, I would have a really hard time drinking water off of almost any part of me.
Like, unless it's right
hands
here.
and arms, unless it's right here,
yeah,
I'm in trouble.
Yep. And so, like, yeah, that makes total sense. And like, other animals utilize, like, there's lizards that have scales that channel the water up to their mouth by capillary action, so it is brought to the mouth. But if you're as flexible as a snake, just make yourself a bowl and you're good to go. It's so simple, but makes so much sense.
Lydia says, so lick snakes for freshwater if lost in the desert.
Just ring them
referencing
out.
Referencing the previous study, Jackie proposes seeds being dispersed in prey animals, in snakes, on trains. That this is how seeds are going to be transported across India.
Snakes, trains, and seed dispersal is
yes
the film we need to make now. Calling back also reminded me that got the name for our knitter is Tina.
Oh yes, who? That's right, it was Tina. Tina made this, and also that one that Will has.
Yeah.
These fun little scarves were from Tina. Thank you, Tina. I don't know if Tina is watching, but wherever you are out there, thank you so much.
And they did say that they were inspired by specific species. I know this is a salty, and somewhere in the letter, which I don't have easy access to.
Yeah.
The snake was also inspired.
I should have thought to double check on that before doing this, but I did think to wear this scarf 10 minutes before we did the stream. So with my apologies to Tina, we will find that information. Brian said, now I'm imagining a plant that makes fruits that look like eggs to be eaten by egg eating snakes. I wouldn't put it past plants. And then Dutch Tunicate official said, how much plant matter would a snake have to eat before it would be considered omnivorous? This varies. Usually, in order to be omnivorous, an animal has to be first actually able to get nutrition
Mm-hmm.
from both plant and protein matter. That because like anyone can eat like those seeds in the snakes. They're not digesting those seeds. They're not getting any nutrition from those seeds because their digestive system isn't equipped to do that.
Yeah, it's not actually
And then
part of
as
their
far as
diet. It's just part of what
yeah,
goes
yeah,
through them.
yeah, you could put anything
Yeah.
through your digestive system, but that's that
Yeah.
doesn't make you an eater of that
Yeah,
thing.
if I eat a marble, I'm not marble-liverous. I'm gonna just poop
You
out a
just
marble
ate a
later.
marble. Yes,
Hopefully.
you are
Hopefully.
making mistakes.
Yes.
Um, and then how much is there's not really a consistent defining line. So it would really just come down to some researcher would have to go, well, it's 15% and that's good enough for me.
Yeah. Uh, one of the ways
But as long
I've
as they're getting a significant amount,
yeah,
whatever significant counts as, of their day-to-day nutrition is coming from plants.
and I've also heard discussion around whether or not they are purposely including it in the diet. Is
Yes.
also a thing that gets considered of, because like with a lot of predators, plants are going to end up in their digestive tract because plants are everywhere. And like for a snake, if you go grab like one of those slug eating snakes, stuff's going to get stuck to that slug. And when you're wrestling
Yes.
with it as it tries to get away, it's going to get a whole bunch of schmutz from the forest floor all over it, and it gets going to be
Yeah.
covered in pine needles.
My snake regularly swallows parts of the litter.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the they're not wood chips, but there's something like that
Yeah, the
that is
shavings.
in the shavings. And yep, it goes in, probably isn't doing very well at digesting that, and then it comes back out.
And so that would be another reason we wouldn't consider that omnivory, because the snake's not aiming to include that. It just is happening to get in the mouth, and they are not quite so refined in their table manners that they spit it out before swallowing. This is what was
Yes.
thought with sharks, that we would find stomach content with plants. It's like, well, yeah, but the fish they went for was next to a plant. Surely that's the only reason that this is here. Same with crocs. And then like with the bonnet shark, we noted them biting pieces of kelp that had no animals. And with
Yes.
some crocodilians, we've noted them pulling fruit from trees. So if we saw a snake actively like go to a plant and bite the leaf and swallow the leaf when there was no animal in sight, that would be like, I was gonna say red flag, but like that would be a whoop, like
Yes.
someone
Something
put a pin
unusual
in
is
that.
happening. Yes.
Have we seen that happen before? Have we just not been paying attention? That sort of stuff is often what we look for.
Dutch Tunicate official said, okay, so I'm not crazy when I couldn't find consistent numbers for what counts as omnivorous.
Yeah.
No, it's a made up.
Yeah.
It's made up. It's very arbitrary.
Well, and it's what we talk about, like what we call herbivores are almost all omnivores when push comes to shove, because
Yes. And the same is
almost,
true of carnivores.
yeah, exactly.
And even carnivores that are like, even if not intentionally, plants are covered in bugs and prey are full of plants.
Yep. Yep. So like
So there's not really a dividing line there.
you get the very rare cases of like hyper carnivores and stuff that have almost no plant material. Other
And
than that,
snakes are one of those very
yes.
unusual cases where they
So
are basically incapable of processing any plant material outside of what's in their prey.
Yeah. Yep. Uh, which goes back to like why it would be so difficult for us to get a herbivorous, let alone omnivorous snake.
Yes. There was a question up here a little bit more. Deadly Buzz asks, "What's your most memorable snake encounter in the wild?"
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I've had a few. Last summer, Nora and I were in Alberta, and I saw my first ever wild prairie rattlesnake,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
which was so. He was just sitting there, just hanging out, enjoying the sun. Didn't move as we got closer. I That was the first time I got to hear a rattle in the wild as a just like, and we measured it was about 6 feet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Once you got within about 6 feet, the tail started going. And I was like, all right, that's the limit for this particular snake. That's when you're gonna start getting, because the snake's like, a human can strike half of its body length.
Mm-hmm,
I've
mm-hmm.
heard.
Yes.
And this too close.
Well, and when the snake went back to its friends, these things were 12 feet long. They're huge, Carl,
Yes,
I tell you.
those humans get bigger every time you tell this story.
Well, when you see one, you can tell your story. They were massive and
Yes.
terrifying. I had to defend myself.
They were
Yeah,
coming right at me.
I had a rattlesnake encounter as a kid. I don't remember how old I was, but this was back in like elementary school, and I was at a summer camp. And it was part of a nature center. So they would have animals that we met, and then we would go on nature walks. And we were doing one of the nature walks, and our camp counselor was up in front and just went, "Whoop! Everybody stop!"
Yep.
And it, like, looking back on it now, because like I can remember bits. I'm like, "Good, you did a good job, camp counselor." Because he turned around and he's like, "All right, everybody, we're gonna be quiet. We're gonna stay calm.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna stay together. There is a rattlesnake ahead of us on the trail, and it was a timber rattler." And so we all immediately like bunched up to the invisible line that was the camp counselor's position
Yep.
so that we could get a look. And little kid proportions, I don't know how big it was, but it looked like it, like in my memory, had to be at least like 2.5 feet, like
Sure.
like
Yeah, the prairie rattler that we saw was coiled up, so
mm-hmm.
but probably at least 4 feet long.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good sized
Yeah.
rattlesnake.
I can't remember for sure, but it was long enough to be impressive. So it might
Mm-hmm.
have been longer than that, but it was definitely, the better part of a meter. Uh I got to see it because it was slithering. It was moving across the
Cool.
trail, which was the first thing that struck me. It just moved in a straight line. Just
Yeah.
just it didn't do which is what I was used to snakes doing. It just
Rectilinear motion.
yeah,
Just
just
which we didn't bring this up in the episode, but vipers do off, like, that's not uncommon to see
mhm.
big snakes doing.
Yeah. And it
uh,
was like gliding. I was just amazed. And it was silent for a little while. Like, we didn't move closer to it. It was moving across the trail, like perpendicular to the trail and up a little hill. And at some point, either it became aware of us or maybe one of us made a noise. Like, for whatever reason, partway through, it started rattling. And
mhm.
its tail the whole time was just curled up. And then it just
Yeah.
started rattling, which was the second thing that got me. I didn't know they could rattle and slither at the same time because I'd only ever seen them do it
Yeah.
stationary in documentaries and stuff. And then it just kept rattling up and over the hill. And slowly faded away.
We also, speaking of snake tails, you and I went on. I went on a couple of these herping trips with
Mm-hmm.
our grad school classes, and in one of them, I think you were in this one where we found the mud snake,
The mud snake. Yep.
which is we get them in the southern parts of the U.S. They have sharp little tails.
Yeah, they got
They're
it
not
comes with a little
like
point.
yeah, they're not like stab you like a scorpion tail or anything. Just a little point, and when you hold them, they'll they'll just poke
Yeah.
that tail into. And I'm not sure how much of it is for purchase, like
Mm-hmm.
to hold on so that I'm not going to fall off, and how much of it is let me go,
Yes.
poke, poke, poke. But they were beautiful
Yeah.
snakes, and it was a very cool that little poke in the middle of your hand or your arm.
It's that was one of my first times realizing there were other kinds of specialized snake tails. Uh I
Yeah,
I only knew about the rattle. I didn't know there were other ways that snakes could get creative with their tails. And so yeah, they picked it up and it started going, and I was like, what is it doing? It's like, oh, it's got a spike. And I was like, all right, don't say that like that's normal. All right.
this is one of the snakes with a spike tail.
What?
There are quite a number of snakes that have spiky tails like that.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
very cool.
my tab crashed. It's all right. I'm coming back. I didn't crash. I'm still here. I just gotta fix my thing here. Um, Also, this was a different herping trip, I think. Um, when someone found a garter snake,
Ooh.
and then we were like handling it, taking pictures, and passing it around, and then it threw up like a mouse or something that it had just
Yeah.
eaten, which is a thing that snakes will commonly do if they're stressed. Part of it is just like a stress response, right?
Mhm.
Stress just messes with your body, but also it can be a defense mechanism. Either like Musk is like, this is
Mhm.
gross, so it is helpful, but probably even more significant to unload so
Yes.
that they can then escape.
Yep.
So this snake was stressed and then like threw up a mouse or something. And I remember, oh no, it was a frog. That's what it was. It was like, "Bleh," and it plopped out this frog. And I remember feeling really bad. I was like, oh man, this snake probably worked really hard to catch that frog.
Mhm.
And now
Mhm.
like we've stressed it out and it thinks it's in danger, so it's thrown up the frog. That stinks. I'm so
Yep.
sorry. So sorry, it's snake.
This alien encounter has been traumatic for you. Uh
Yes.
yeah. That made me think I had a stomach snake a snake stomach content story from when I was a kid. My dad was mowing our lawn and my brother had recently been born and my dad was very much like leave snakes alone. There's not a reason to kill them. But we had a toddler toddling around and he came
Mm,
across a copperhead while mowing the lawn. So he's like, nope, sorry. You're not allowed to be in this yard right now while I have a toddler around. So he killed it. But he then came and got me. He's like, all right, so here's what happened. I have
mhm.
it in the yard. And he had the head covered because that's where he had killed it. So I didn't see the damaged head. He's like, one of the things you can do with snakes is skin them and have the skin. Would you like to? Because my dad's an Eagle Scout. So he's like, would you like to do that as an
Yes.
activity?
And you were a little animal kid.
Yep. So I was like, okay. And
Yeah,
like the skin, we didn't prepare the skin in any, so it slowly fell apart over time, but
sure.
we did skin it. But when we did, you have to, slice down. And when we sliced down the belly, a little mouse paw popped out. And
Cool.
I like that. It's like a vivid core memory of seeing that little paw sticking out and just going, whoa, like this is a nature documentary. This like it's all
Yeah.
real.
The one wild snake that I ever got to dissect This was during a year of field work. This was a snake that had one of the people on our trip had hit it with their car.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like they had been driving and the snake had like come out from on the side of the road or something, and they had like just sideswiped it and broken its jaw. So they collected it. We euthanized it as best that we could, and then same thing, skin, did some dissection, and this one had 4 eggs inside,
Whoa.
which was like sad
Yes.
because, but also very cool. That was a really memorable experience.
Neat.
Um, there were a couple things. Zelfia said, so is it weird that we don't have omnivorous snakes in the grand scheme of things? Or is the evolutionary default falling to one side or the other? It's weird that snakes are so carnivorous.
Yes.
That's relatively uncommon. Sharks are like that. Crocs, for the most part, are like that. A lot of arthropod, like spiders, for the most part, are like that. Scorpions, I'm pretty sure. So it's not unheard of. But
Yeah.
there's more often than not, there's in between. Snakes are unusually extreme in that dietary specialization.
Yes.
And then
So
there was another comment. Oh, Kayleen said, I went to look up prairie rattlesnake kidneys, and it turns out if you start trying to learn about their kidneys, the first thing that comes up are about nephrotoxic venoms. If you start looking up anything about vipers,
yep.
yeah, you real quick get into medical papers because that's what happens. That's what gets published about.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's I had a family visit over the weekend, and we passed in a home aquarium store, and I had a moment where I said, "Do you know what the most annoying thing about home aquariums is?" And he was very confused. I went, "It makes it hard to look up the animals, anything past their care."
Yep.
When you
Yeah,
Google it, you just
trying
get
to
a whole
find
bunch
any
of advice on taking care of
yes,
them.
trying to find any sort of scientific information about bearded dragons
Yep.
is a nightmare.
Yep.
Um, Ryan is here. Hello, Ryan. Thank you for joining us. Also, speaking of venomous things, a couple other newses. This was a very fun news. This one is very recent, actually. Um, this is a study by William Hayes and M. K. Morris in Toxins. That is a study examining the myth that baby rattlesnakes are more dangerous.
Cool.
So, not examining whether the myth is true, but how did that myth spread,
Yes, yes.
which is really
The
neat.
human
So,
side of it.
for those that are unfamiliar, there is a popular myth that goes around, especially here in North America, that baby rattlesnake bites are more dangerous than adult rattlesnake bites. And the common explanation for this, which they called the venom dump idea, is that baby rattlesnakes can't control how much venom they release. So when they bite, they just release all of it at once. And that, according to this myth, makes them extra dangerous to get bitten by. This is not true. There have
Mhm.
been tons of studies that have looked into this that have found that baby rattlesnakes can control how much venom they release. Like they don't just automatically release all of it, that they produce less venom, inject less venom, and cause less severe envenomation when they bite. So like, no, they're
Yeah.
not less dangerous. Also, that this uh, myth has consequences, not only perpetuating fear of snakes, but could lead to people taking risks they don't need to take, or even more detrimental, inappropriate care
Yes.
being applied to a snake bite.
Yes.
Right? If you have a misconception about how dangerous this bite is, then health professionals are in danger of misapplying treatments to it.
Yeah, and it's a persistent myth because I've also heard the variant that where it's the like, yes, true. It's not that they can't control it; they can control, but they still dump all their venom because they're an itty bitty baby and they need to make sure they're defending themselves. So
Right.
they are. It's not that they can't control; it's that they are biting with all they've got because they're so vulnerable. Like the myth is even adjusted to trying to be corrected to persist.
Yes. So this study was looking at where did this myth come from? Like, how did this happen? And so first, what they did was they looked through newspaper accounts where this came up and found that this myth appears to have started, according to these historical newspaper accounts. The myth appears to have started around the 1960s
Okay.
and first became prevalent in California.
All right.
So, for a number of decades, this was really a California myth. And then in the early 2000s, it began to show up more and more nationwide. So,
Okay.
exactly why, like where this idea came from, they don't address, but it seems to have started in one area in the mid 1900s and then spread from there. Then they also surveyed university classrooms across the country to see like who's familiar with this myth
Yeah.
and found that the myth was most familiar to students in the southwest of the US and least familiar in the northeast. That
Yeah.
that matching that pattern of this started in the southwest.
Interesting.
They also noted another interesting pattern that in the historical reports, the newspaper reports, when they mentioned this myth, it was commonly citing health professionals or emergency responders.
Yeah.
So, like, paramedics or EMTs or police officers or whoever was interviewed or whatnot, and they were most often the source of this incorrect information in these accounts. And then they did a small survey, not very extensive, of health professionals and emergency responders in Southern California and found that of their small sample, almost three-quarters of them
Mm-hmm.
believed this myth to be true.
Yeah.
And they point out that this is really significant because this is a community of people who it makes sense they would end up with this myth stuck in their heads because more than almost anyone else they're going to be dealing with snakebite victims.
Yes.
Like that is more relevant to your life if you are a emergency responder than almost anybody else. So it makes sense that this is a common thing that's been circulated, but it also means that this is incorrect information that appears to be common among this group that includes the first people to address these emergency situations.
Mm-hmm.
So the paper points out that while combating this myth in general is important, those communities, right, first responders, emergency and health workers, should be a priority for this education
Yes.
because then they can become a source of more accurate info moving forward. That's the community that has been let down the most
Mm-hmm.
by the spread of this myth, which is
Yeah.
really interesting.
And it's the kind of myth that can so easily get started and feel very reliable. Uh,
It feels true.
because
It's
it
one of the
makes
like,
sense.
hmm
Uh, and it because that you said that they weren't uh uh trying to or able to pin down who started it per se, but like all it would take is one person whose anecdotal experiences confirm this idea that, like, yeah, no,
Hmm.
I removed rattlesnakes for people, so I have handled both babies and adults, and I've been bitten more than once, and the only ones that sent me to the hospital were the babies. Uh,
Or
so there's got to be
it
something
could
there.
even,
I know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, it could even have started as a hypothesis
Mm-hmm.
that like there was some study that was like we're investigating whether or not this is true,
Mm-hmm.
and then just the hypothesis became reported on,
Yep. Yep.
right? There's so many ways for these things, and the paper, like I said, doesn't go into like where did this start, because number one, that's going to be really hard to determine, but
Yes.
also number two, it doesn't particularly matter.
Mm-hmm.
At this point we're 50, 60 years on, and what's important now is how has it spread, what are the impacts that this is having. And when it comes to animals having harmful myths spread about them, there are few better quintessential cases than snakes.
Yep.
Snakes really get the raw end of the deal very, very often.
Yeah. One, and it's these kinds of myths are like they're hard to fight because, like we were saying, they feel like they make sense. You've heard them for a very long time, but also they you very often, when it comes to animals that people are dealing with in their day-to-day lives, that people are going to prefer their own experience over what any study says, what any city person coming to their rural area or whatever the situation is. They're gonna prefer that experience and what they've been told by the people they trust, so these myths
Yeah.
persist in spite of evidence.
Well, and you could also very easily imagine a situation where, like, I've heard this myth, I've heard it, I have no reason to think it's not true. Then my cousin got bit
Mm-hmm.
by a baby rattlesnake and it was bad.
Yep.
And now I'm like,
Yep.
just like they said,
Yep.
my cousin got bit and it was a bad bite. Then when someone comes along and says this isn't true, it's not just, well, I heard it, it's, but I have this example.
Yes.
There is this example that supports this information that I already believed before. And now you're caught in a loop of
Mm-hmm.
positive feedback,
Yep.
of every time you hear it, it's reinforced for you.
Well, and it's
Um,
also got the issue of um survivor biased, where you're not going to hear about the dry bites.
yes.
Like, so if someone gets bit and it's not a big deal, they just don't go to the hospital. It just doesn't make the news. That's not an interesting bar story. It doesn't get shared around.
Incidentally, this feels like a great opportunity for us to say any rattlesnake bite, go to the hospital.
Yep.
Like it, even a mild rattlesnake bite is still a rattlesnake bite. Go to the hospital.
Yep.
There's no reason to, well, I say there's no reason. We live in the US, but you should take care of yourself. You should
Yes.
get medical attention if you are bitten by a rattlesnake, regardless of the size.
If you go to the hospital with a rattlesnake bite,
Also,
you'll almost surely be fine because we are very good at handling them. Not doing that is where you can end up in some real trouble.
yes. Lucy said, I got to call my grandpa and uncle. Funny. Uh, Lydia said, I wonder how many of them would also still want to apply a tourniquet for a bite.
Yep.
This is
Yep.
another thing that there's probably been research on this. Um, Basically, every bit of knowledge that you have heard about how to treat a venomous snake bite is incorrect.
Yep.
The correct way to treat a venomous snake bite is to leave it alone and go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, the recommended procedure is don't mess with it, don't touch it, because messing with it is only much more likely to make things worse
Yep.
than to help anything. The big three steps are don't mess with it, remain calm, because that's the other thing. Once again, if you're in the US, you're gonna be fine. Go to the hospital. If you start panicking, blood flow increases. So don't panic. If you panic and freak out, you're gonna make it worse.
Yes.
So don't panic.
Stay calm. If you're not calm,
stay
you're
calm.
messing up.
Yes. Step number 2, if possible, get a picture of the snake. This is especially important in places with multiple local species of venomous snakes. Generally, it's just a good practice. And number 3, go to the hospital as soon as you can. Call ahead if you can, and just be like, "Hey, snake bite. Prep the anti-venom or whatever. I'm coming in. I'll be there in 20 minutes or whatnot."
Yep.
Don't do a tourniquet. Don't try to suck the poison out. That's a terrible idea. Just leave it alone. There are also these like snake bite kits that they sell, which I have heard nothing but bad things about from like actual snake researchers and like snake people who deal with snakes.
Well, and it's similar to CPR, where CPR used to be chest compressions and rescue breaths. Chest compression, rescue breaths. The chest compression pumps the heart to get blood moving. Rescue breaths help to reoxygenate that blood. Nowadays, if you get CPR trained, they just teach you to do the compressions for the most part, unless you're getting like extra certified, like you're working with kids or something, and like then you'll still get the full lesson sometimes. But they just teach you the compressions. And I asked one time, I was like, why'd you take the other part off? And they said the two big reasons are, when you start doing CPR on someone, their blood should have enough oxygen to be good for the beginning bit. If you get to the point where you need rescue breaths, so like for that first section, you don't need rescue breaths because there's still oxygen in the blood. If you have been doing CPR so long, or they have been unconscious so long that you would need to be doing it, the situation is already so dire that you may not be able to do anything about it. But the other reason, and the biggest reason, is people didn't want to do the rescue breaths because it's gross and it's uggy and it's yucky.
And it is.
Yep. So it made people less likely to do CPR in situations. It made them more likely to sit and wait for someone to come. So they realized that if they just teach the chest compressions, people will do that. And that's more important than the rescue breath. So do the part that's critical. Don't do the other part. Yes, if you know how to do rescue breaths and if you're willing to, that probably would help. But we're more concerned about the grand scheme and snake stuffs like that, where there are things you could probably do to better mitigate, but if you do them wrong, you will make it worse.
Yes.
So unless you're been trained, don't.
Lydia also says, please don't bring the snake. dead or alive. This is true for several reasons. Most importantly is grabbing a snake is the absolute number one best way to get bitten by a snake. And 2 bites from a venomous snake is worse than 1 bite from a venomous snake. It's not like, well, he already got me, I'm going to now like, no, because it could have been a dry bite the first time. Even if it wasn't, now you're getting envenomated in 2 different places. And also you're just getting more of it. And you have a camera in your pocket. Take a picture of the snake. Please don't grab the snake.
It makes me think of the Make Some Noise of him trying to reason with a rattlesnake and just getting bitten over and over again.
Yes. Do not shake hands with a snake. It is ableist. Um, this has been super. This is super fun. There was one other. I have to double check a thing, but there is one other Venom related news that I got here. This was also fairly recently. Susana Torres et al. In Nature. Um, Designer anti venom proteins, which is pretty cool. They looked at toxins found in elapid snakes. So these are the ones that you're more likely to get bitten by in Australia, and especially in the tropics of the old world, places like India and such. Um, one of the most famous toxins within the snake's venoms are called three finger toxins, which are called that because of the shape of them. They cause tissue damage, they disrupt the nerve system, and they are difficult to treat because antivenoms just don't have a whole don't impact them very much. It's just
Yeah.
not like antivenoms just don't do a very good job. So they ran computational programs to design artificial proteins that would disrupt these toxins. And then they were able to create these proteins. And then in lab tests with mice, their artificial proteins neutralized all three major types of these toxins and
Whoa.
protected the mice from the lethal effects.
Wow.
So instead of finding some sort of competing protein in another animal, or instead of, the normal antivenom thing of running it through the body of some animal and then collecting what the body produced, they studied the shape of the proteins and came up with a shape that should stop it.
Yes.
And apparently it does in mice.
Yes.
So hopefully there are directions for this in the future, which is very, very cool.
It's so cool because chemistry is just math. And
Yes.
the fact that we're getting to where we can just math out the molecules and just go, these things can only interact in certain ways. If we understand that well enough, we should be able to preempt it. Like by just
Yeah.
making this, and that's very cool.
Yes. Which is very, very cool. Ryan said, link, please. I'll put the links in the Snake Stuff channel in the Discord after the live stream. On the note of getting bitten by venomous snakes, Ali has also said, take off jewelry,
Yes.
especially rings if bitten. Yeah, anything that like constricts part of the body or could constrict blood flow, it's a good idea to take off so that you're not concentrating the venom in certain parts of your body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As counterintuitive as it sounds, you do kind of want the venom to spread everywhere.
Yeah.
Because that dilutes it, that disperses the effects. This is why it's not recommended to do tourniquets.
Yeah.
Because what you're and it depends on what type of venom it is. But if you're do a tourniquet, then all the venom gets to just hang out in one spot
Yes.
and can cause severe damage to whatever that spot is, which statistically is very likely to be your foot or hand.
Yeah. Yep.
Usually that's where these bites are happening.
Yeah. Because
Also,
it's
I guess
like,
that's where you could do a tourniquet.
yeah. Because like you have a certain amount of venom in you that can do a certain amount of chemical reacting. So effectively, that bite has inserted a set number of damage that's going to be dealt.
Yes. You want that damage to be dealt everywhere,
You want it to
not
disperse.
just to your hand.
Yes.
Yes. And I think this is particularly true for like necrotoxins, like toxins that attack tissues
Yeah.
more so than others. But it is still, and also the other issue with tourniquets is that they have the same issue you were talking about. If you do it wrong, you're just going to hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm. Because like
and make things worse.
I heard about at one point the idea of doing a ramp that compresses the outer layer in the lymphatic system and is
Mm-hmm.
slowing spread that way. But even that you could overdo. But the idea of it just a tourniquet, like tourniquets generally speaking are for life and death situations of you are losing so much blood so quickly that if we don't staunch it, you would die because
Right.
you are effectively saying better to lose this
Yes, exactly.
than to lose
Yeah.
this.
A tourniquet is for when the better alternative is damaging that limb.
The tourniquet is the scene in the core where they're having to shut off the sections that have been compromised so that they can eventually detach them, which we call in a human body amputation.
Now, because we've spent so much time talking about this, I do want to. It feels responsible to emphasize neither of us are medical professionals. This is all information that we have gathered over the years from reliable sources.
Yep.
You know, one we imagine, but please do not take anything that we say in the podcast or on the live stream as medical advice. If you are interested in learning about these things, find information from like reliable medical sources.
Yes.
Don't. What we're saying are, you know, as far as we know, general good practices, but we are not doctors, so be aware.
Yes. This is much more us giving you the advice to listen to the medical professionals than to anything else. That's where we've gotten what we're saying. If any of it's out of date, because it very well could be.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't talk to doctors every single day. Those are the people. The people who you want treating the bites are the people you should be listening to about what to do with the bites.
Yes. Oh, and this is Lydia points out you can call poison control for venomous critters, which does bring me to the thing that I was going to say earlier after Will told the story about the snake and your dad. If possible, all over this country at least, there are services these days that will come to your house and take away the snake.
Yes.
So in most circumstances, you shouldn't have to kill a venomous snake. There are people who can come and particularly help out with that. There are tons of them that like I really enjoy that do like Instagram and stuff that they're on social media and they'll be like, "Hey, we got called to this house. There's a rattlesnake in it. We're going to go get it." And then they show how they trap it and how they handle it and then where they take it. There's a whole lot of dedicated people who do that these days. I'm sure there are places where that's more accessible than others. For sure it's become more accessible over time, but if you live in an area where venomous snakes or any other venomous animals are a concern, knowing your local poison control or
animal control,
venomous snake removal, whatever the service is really helpful.
Yes. Yeah. No, there's lots. This is something we have a lot of infrastructure for in this country. Like, you know, not that it's perfect, you know, Lord knows there's flaws to the systems we are working with here.
Yes.
But dealing with this kind of thing is something that we've been doing for a very long time, and a lot of professions have focused a lot of time and energy into it. So like it is a manageable thing.
Yeah, in many ways, the United States is one of the best places in the world to encounter a venomous snake.
Yes.
Because our venomous snakes aren't terribly dangerous as venomous snakes go.
Yeah,
once
they
again,
are not
go to the hospital.
Top of the charts.
Yes. And number two, we have lots of resources and medical facilities to help. and you are extremely likely to find a venomous snake in the
Yes.
US. Right. Like Canada is also, if you're
Hmm.
worried about venomous snakes, a great place to be because you're almost never going to see them because there's just not very many up there. Here in the US, we got US and Australia, I would imagine, have got to be the top two places for like ratio of how often you will see a venomous snake and how big a problem it actually is.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, because yeah, it's just we talked about this in the Vipers episode. I grew up in Georgia. Copperheads were just I didn't see them like every day, but my dad
Sure.
removed at least like 3 or 4 that I can remember from my childhood home. Just he'd be like, "Hey, just so you know, saw a copperhead. You know, got a stick and
Hmm.
threw it further out. Just be careful because it might still be hanging around. It might still be in the area."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a thing to be aware of.
Yeah, where we live, where Will and I are both currently located, there are two native species of venomous snakes. We've got timber rattlesnakes and we've got copperheads
Mhm, mhm.
here. And if you go a little bit south, you get cottonmouths,
Yep,
you get Massasaugas, I believe not too far south of here, and then eventually you start getting like diamondbacks
yep.
in the farther part of the south.
Yeah, I've
So we've got
s mhm, yeah, I've
yeah,
seen
go ahead.
cottonmouths before. Not a
Yes.
ton.
I've seen one on one of those
Mhm.
herp trips.
Yep.
Saw a cottonmouth.
But going around campsites and creeks and stuff, there's definitely times where it's more so I saw a snake that I very much suspected was a cottonmouth because
Sure.
it was a very dark, almost pure black snake in a creek, moving through the
Mhm.
water. So it's like, all right, that probably
You didn't go and check.
nope, nope. Because that's it's uh, like we've been talking with here. That was one of those where it's like copperheads. All right, just be careful. Like don't go grabbing them. Cottonmouths had a reputation. Uh,
Mhm.
it was very much this like you don't go near a cottonmouth. You do not
Yeah.
touch. You do not approach. Like they had this. They had much more mythos and fear around. So I was raised very much to be like, yeah, the copperhead's the chill little brother compared to the cottonmouth.
The cottonmouth, for those unfamiliar, here in the US at least, cottonmouths are the snake most commonly associated with the name water moccasin.
Yep.
Like that's when people talk about water moccasins, that's usually either what they are talking about or what they mean to be talking about
Yes.
is cottonmouths, which in the vipers episode we talked about. Cottonmouths are the most aquatic of
Hmm.
vipers. And in fact, the only viper species that are considered truly semi aquatic,
Yeah,
which is very cool. They
they're
are
very neat.
like fish hunters. They hunt fish, they hunt frogs, they go after aquatic prey, which is very, very cool.
And then once on a trip, I did see a pygmy rattle uh, down
Ooh.
further south, and it was so tiny.
Um, Zelfia says, I think timber rattlers come this far north. I don't know where you are, but I know like New York has timber rattlers.
Hmm.
So like New York, Pennsylvania, they get up there. I grew up on Long Island, and Long Island does not have rattlesnakes because they were extirpated by around the beginning of the 1900s.
Hmm. Hmm.
Also extirpated almost entirely from Long Island, hognose snakes, which do an excellent impression of a rattlesnake.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Yep.
Way to
Lydia and
go!
Zelfia are pointing out. Way to go, humans.
You removed the cutest
Um,
snake ever.
hognose snakes are the best. They're so. Oh, they're the best. Um, Lydia says, "Have you seen the light color morph rattlesnake that one of the guys found in the wild? Have not. Sounds cool."
Neat.
And Zelvia says, "Have y'all seen the Aussie show about the guys who go catch and relocate snakes? Everything from giant pythons to super deadly snakes, and the humor and the accents are So, no, I have not seen that either, but sounds awesome. Alisa's got to put the snakes back into Long Island. I'm not sure that the Long Islanders would be thrilled.
Just quietly. Just quietly.
Just no one will know.
Just a bag full at a time.
The Bandaset says, how many snake episodes have y'all done since the beginning of the podcast? Any more snake specific episodes you have interest in doing at some point? This is a great question. Number one, on both YouTube and on the website, we have, so on YouTube, we have a Crocs and Snakes playlist, which has all of the episodes that are Crocs and Snakes. And on the website, we have tags for the episodes, and there is a Crocs and Snakes tag.
Yeah.
So in both of those places, you can find the full list of all the Crocs and Snakes episodes we've done. As far as snakes in the future, yeah, absolutely. We're into tons more snakes stuff. These days, our tradition has become we do a Croc and Snake themed episode each month, each year during Croc and Snake month. So our Croc and Snake month episodes started in the 140s, which actually started with phytosaurs and monitors, which are not crocs or snakes, but closely related. And we have since done marine crocs and sea snakes. We did after hang on. Did I just forget something? No, I don't think so. We did alligators and caimans and boas and pythons. Last year we did terrestrial crocs and legless lizards, which is sort of a snake episode. And then this year we did gharials and vipers. All of that on top of our original episodes 2 and 3, Crocs and Snakes. And then we've done a bunch of bonus stuff. So we've got our bonus episodes this year. We did our episodes with Marissa and Hiral back during our first Croc and Snake month. So yeah, we got tons of them. And we will continue to do Croc and Snake themed episodes, at least for Croc and Snake month into the future. If there's things you want to hear about, request them through the topic request form on the website. We will get to them eventually.
Yeah.
Badoop boop. And then Lydia said, are there any glaring gaps in the snake requests, like how we missed gharials? I don't think so. The trick with crocs is that, like, there's 4 types of croc. Like, that's modern day. That's pretty much, there's 4 types of crocs. And gharials being missing was like, yeah, you're missing a quarter of them.
Yep.
Snakes not the same, aren't quite the same way.
Yeah, it means I got one group left, and then I'll have to start going to more fossil groups and eventually get creative.
We'll have to end the podcast.
Yep.
That'll be it. That'll be the end. Well, that's not true. It'll just be snakes. We'll just keep doing snakes forever.
I'm taking my 50%. I'm leaving.
We'll release episodes only once a month, but it'll be all snake content all the time.
Talking earlier about like
final form of Common Descent. Eventually, what'll happen is it'll be 2 podcasts.
Yes. Yep.
It'll split and it'll be 2 competing podcasts.
Talking about snake removal earlier did make me think of, that is something that our 2 groups have in common. They are very regularly animals that must be removed from areas.
These are both groups of animals that when you go there, you ask specifically, what do I do about these animals?
Yep. And like, especially here in the US, snakes and gators getting into people's yards and pools and places have to be removed. Same with snakes that get into people's houses. Because that's the issue with snakes is like, if you find one in your yard, it's like, cool, go inside. Like, just go back inside if you're nervous. But they like to get into like garages and stuff. And that's the issue. That's why people get, freak out, is because you went to take out the trash and something moved. And
Yes. And like, even if I like opened the toilet and there was a snake in there,
mm-hmm.
even I would have a moment of like, okay, hang
Yep.
on.
Yep.
That's not, this is not where you're supposed to be.
Oh, well, this is
That
a
would scare the heck out of me.
absolutely. This is a perfect time to share this story. I told you about it, that I found the snake skin in my apartment when I moved in. That there was
Oh,
a
yeah, yeah,
hole
yeah.
next to the door jamb that goes outside. And when I was moving stuff around my bookshelf where things had been cluttered, so I didn't go over there while I was getting settled. And when I moved, I noticed down under my shelf that holds my plants a snake skin. And no snake,
Cool.
but a snake came into my apartment to shed its skin and then left, I presume, since I have not found a dead snake.
Yes. Well, and also inside an apartment is not actually a good place for a snake to be.
No, absolutely. There's no
Like,
food for it here.
there's no food here. There's
No.
nothing for you to eat.
I keep it probably uncomfortably cold for what it would be liking
Mhm.
to warm up to. Uh, and so, no, not great for it here. Knowing that an outside animal came inside to my apartment without me knowing, it was very
Mhm.
uncomfortable. It's
Yes.
like, regardless of the fact whether it was a snake or not, you don't live here. It'd be very much like, it's like when you wake up and maintenance has like already come into your apartment. You have that little moment of like, who's here?
Yes.
Uh,
Yep.
I don't like it.
Someone was in my home.
It was that. It's just like,
Yep.
nope, I don't like that you can come in here.
Nekonomicon said the toilet thing actually happened to a friend of mine. That is particularly common in like Australia.
Yep.
That snakes, they'll end up in the pipes.
Yeah.
And Kayleen said, I know a guy who was bitten in the butt while sitting on a toilet. That did happen in Snakes on a Plane. Someone gets bit. A lot happens in Snakes on a Plane. It really, Snakes on a Plane really is like, what are all of the most uncomfortable ways we can imagine a person getting bitten by a snake?
Yep.
And that's why there hasn't been another one, because they did all of them.
They did. And we've talked about this before of like, why are there so far fewer snake movies than croc movies? And it really is because snakes, when they eat or do things, it's fairly similar. Like, they bite, they swallow, and that's most of it.
Well, because snakes aren't actually all that scary to dwell upon.
No.
Like, the fear from a snake is largely hypothetical and largely an immediate thing, because what snakes are not menacing creatures. Like, it's hard to come up with a story where like a snake is the the serial murderer in the, because it's like, yeah, but you spotted the snake and now the encounter's pretty much over.
Yep.
Which is why Anaconda is the one example of like big snake hunting people, which is a plot you can really only do so many times.
Yep. Which is why almost
And
every Sci-Fi Channel snake movie is that.
yeah. And Snakes on a Plane was just like, what if snakes but everywhere in a place you can't get away from?
Yes.
But like, crocs are actual monstrous creatures.
Yeah.
Like, a croc is an actual like big scary thing you can't fight off or get away from in the right circumstance. It's like, it's easy to come up with a croc as a scary animal.
Yeah.
Snakes aren't like, they're not, for all of the mythos around them.
Yeah.
They're not actually practically very scary animals.
Well, because they're not actually apex predators. They're extremely effective predators, but they're not typical. And like, even the places that have big snakes, they are eating bigger prey, but it's like, every so often. And like, they're not holding large territories the way a tiger would, or like they're still pretty low key large predators. So they're not an apex predator the way a croc
Yes.
or a lion or a wolf or bear even is.
And they also aren't stalking predators.
Mm-mm.
Like snakes are really pretty dedicated. I sit in one place and wait for something to come by predators. And unlike crocs, which are also mostly I sit in one place, snake it's hard to make a snake chase
Yeah.
people in an engaging way. Like crocs don't chase people, but like you can animate a croc chasing people in a movie and it's believable. Because
Yes.
like, yeah, they're big, they have legs. That snakes, it's kind of hard to make a believable snake chasing after people in a movie situation. Snakes are surprisingly difficult to make monster scary.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, the fear around snakes isn't actually a fear of the kind of animal they are, because the kind of animal they are
Yes.
is not other than the venomous ones who can accidentally or defensively send you to the hospital. Most snakes are a non-issue. It's the idea of snakes. It's
Yes.
it's the serpentine, it's the winding, it's the, you know, alien unexpressive faces. It's those things that people have trouble relating to and find bizarre and uh, unusual that
Yes.
feeds this continuous fear.
And it's why education with snakes is so effective and so
Mm-hmm.
valuable. That I've seen this happen many, many times is that people come into an encounter with all of the worst expectations and then they meet a snake and go, "Oh,
That's it. Like that.
that yeah, that's it.
It's
Yeah,
not
it just sits
striking at the
here.
glass. It's not, you know,
Yep.
trying to constrict your hand. It's not. It's just
Yes.
sitting there
I
in your
have
hand.
had numerous experiences like letting not everyone's willing to do it,
Yeah.
but doing animal shows and having someone like hold a snake and watching just a worldview change to go, ah, okay, this is just an animal.
Mm-hmm.
This is just it just sitting here. Yeah, there's this mythos around snakes that is almost unique to them
Yeah.
among animals. That is, it's the thing we've talked about with horror movies. It's the Jaws situation where like Jaws is as effective a movie as it is because you don't see the shark for
Mm-hmm.
like 80% of the movie,
Yes.
which allows you to build up that fear and anticipation of what it's going to be like. And then the shark only actually does scary stuff for like, I don't know, a minute of the movie
Mm-hmm.
that it's like
Mm-hmm.
on screen doing anything scary. Cause yeah, anything more than that, and it stops being scary because a shark isn't actually a particularly scary animal, especially if you're on the boat.
Yep.
Snakes have that thing where it's like, yeah, all the fear is up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and it's like the two thoughts I had was spiders have a similar situation where
Mhm.
all spiders do have venom, and like 95% of them can't hurt us with that venom. It's a
Yes.
very small. I feel confident putting such a high percent because there's so many spiders out there. Spiders are
Yes.
so numerous. And we only worry about a very short list globally. There's a very short list. So it's this idea of like, yeah, the idea of getting randomly bitten by a black widow or brown recluse here in the US is nerve wracking. I've had moments before where I've
Yes.
gone to grab a box out of, you know, a old storage area, and a brown spider scurries out from near where my hand is, and my brain flashes back to the documentary I watched showing brown recluse bites, and I go,
Yes.
big guy, and like most likely it's just a house spider. But I don't want to get bitten in case it's the other one.
Yes.
So it's that same sort of
Zelfia
thing.
Zelfia pointed out that part of the fear of snakes is the fear of the unknown
Mm-hmm.
because they're hidden and could be venomous.
Yes,
There is the
exactly.
potential for danger. Um, Miles said, Miles, hello, Miles. Have you ever seen Dragon Wars? That has giant scary snakes who are also gods and also dragons.
Yep.
Sounds
Uh,
great. I'm on board.
I don't think I ever watched it all the way through. I had it on my to watch list for a long time. And I've seen clips, and it's a very over the top crazy movie of these two like dragon cobras that are like skyscraper sized fighting each other
Cool.
in a city and stuff, and it's ridiculous. I think it's also a East Asian like company that made it, so why it has a very
Oh, interesting.
different vibe from the typical monster movies that were coming out back in that day. Where
Yes.
it's just like, no, it's just the point is to be awesome.
I did, speaking of snake gods, one time I did put together a D&D world with a custom pantheon of gods that I made up.
Mm-hmm.
And in my pantheon, the god of the gods, right, the
Mm-hmm.
Zeus style, like one in charge, is a snake goddess.
Yep.
And her whole thing was, I was very happy with this. Her domains, because gods are often associated with different domains that then clerics can specialize in. Um, her domains were life and grave.
Yeah.
She was all about cycles and like the natural order of, day and night and winter and summer and things like that. Because I was like, yeah, in my world, snakes are a good omen. And when you see a snake, you're happy about it because the most powerful of the gods is smiling upon you.
Yep. Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that. Speaking of fear of snakes, actually, I have another news here. Where did it go? Looking. So this is interesting. um, this study focuses on fear of snakes in mice,
Okay.
but specifically addressing the problem of if a mouse was raised or bred in captivity, like as part
Mm-hmm.
of a rehabilitation or conservation program, are they going to have an appropriate fear of predators when they are released into the wild?
So if you give a mouse a home,
If you give
uh,
a mouse a home, it'll get eaten by a snake. So this is research by Catherine Nguyen and Deborah Shear in Frontiers in Conservation Science, where they point out that one of the sort of practiced solutions to this is anti-predator training.
right.
Basically, can we teach these animals to be afraid of the predators they need to be afraid of? In this study, they specifically we're asking the question: can anti-predator training be inherited by offspring?
Okay.
If you train a parent to be afraid, does that then get passed along to their offspring? So what they did was, these were Pacific pocket mice, which are an endangered species. They did anti-predator training with pregnant females,
Interesting.
and the training was, the way they did the training was they had a king snake, an actual king snake, on the other side of a screen.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Mm-hmm.
they could see each other, but they couldn't actually uh, interact. And the mice were sprayed with water when they approached the snake,
Yes. Yep.
as
Yep.
like, this is a deterrent. Associate these snakes with discomfort.
Yes.
Um, and then later they assessed the offspring that were born to those pregnant mice and found that the offspring were more attentive during predator encounters.
Interesting.
Which is really cool. And they talk about like, because this wasn't taught, they inherited this somehow
Yes.
from the parent. And they point out that it could be hormone related, that like stress hormones during the pregnancy just made these like more nervous offspring in general.
Right.
There's like, yeah, your developing body was flooded with stress hormones, and now you're just like a bit of a worrywart as an individual.
We have introduced the concept of generational trauma to these mice.
Yes, exactly. It could be that the parents' behavior was different. So even if they weren't behaving specifically in response to predators, them being more attentive because of that training might have been a behavior that the offspring picked up on. Or it could be, they point out that the offspring might have detected smells on the parent.
Yeah.
That like, oh, that you smell like something scary and unusual, and that is triggering something.
Interesting.
Interestingly, this inheritance of the fear was only observed in female offspring.
Oh.
Not in the males. And they do not know why. Like what the difference is, if it's something about the interactions with the parent or something about the hormones and and also interestingly, when they eventually released these mice, they did not show any improved survival. Like their rate
Okay.
of survival did not improve, although they do point out there's lots of other things that
Yes.
mice are not hard to dispatch.
Nope.
Also, this was a pretty small sample.
Yes.
So like this is like a preliminary investigation. But
Just to see
apparently
if there's any hope and like any reason to continue down this path.
Yes, exactly. So apparently, yes, to
Yeah.
some degree, mice can inherit at least an attentiveness to
Yes.
predators from the parent.
It's so the realm of behavior and instinctual behavior and where like learned and instinctual behaviors overlap is such a bizarre like it
Yep.
it feels very much like when we do an episode and we have to define what life is, and then we go, all right, so bad news, there is no satisfying definition here because
Yes.
this concept is actually very hard to nail down. Instincts and non-instinctual behavior is very similar to where it's like, so is that something they knew how to do, like or behavior that is triggered based off of things from their genetics, or did we just not catch when they learned it? Like so weird. I also thought of what I think is a very funny joke, but we usually try not to compare animals one-to-one to humans in male and female and men and women.
Yes.
But it did make me think of the male mice then having their own experience with snakes and coming back to tell the female mice, hey, you need to be careful. You should be careful around those.
Watch out.
No, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about.
There is also something to be said for, I believe, the snake bite reports, at least in the US, are overwhelmingly men.
Yep.
Or it's that original sin, and the female mice are just like, listen, we got once
bitten, twice shy.
Never again.
it does make me wonder, because like I don't know enough about epigenetics to know how, because like I know that there are like epigenetics that women who are experience a famine affect the gene expression of their kids. So like this is one of those where mitochondrial DNA shared between females in animals. Is there
Yeah.
something to that? I have no remote clue how
Nope.
it would, but that's the only thing I know that's different between male and female offspring. Whoa.
Listeners, I will put the links to all of these newses that we've been discussing in the Discord on the Snake Stuff channel so that you can go into it and actually read through beyond the quick overview
Yep.
that I've been giving here. Um, I love these live streams. These are super
They're so
fun.
much fun. They're so good.
Talking about fun news that we don't get to talk about on the podcast, hanging out with the listeners. It's July. It's Snake Month. Tomorrow is World Snake Day. And tomorrow we will be releasing this month's bonus extra episode where we will talk with someone, it's Ali from the comments, about snake research. And it's super fun. Tons of fun discussion. That was the thing I missed it before. Ali said, I'm so sorry for not requesting Gariel's. And I was going to say, well, you'll never be a guest on the podcast this way. Missed my opportunity. Forgot. I thought of that joke and then I forgot. Check that out tomorrow when it comes out. Head on over to the Discord and enjoy the Snake Stuff channel where there's lots of conversation about snakes. Like I said, I'll post the links to these various newses over there so you can check them out if you want. Also, last episode that came out, 247, was Vipers. Yes. So go check that out if you want more snake stuff. This weekend over on the Discord, we will be having this month's Discord Q&A, which will basically be this again, where we're just going to talk about, so you come, you ask questions, we will talk about snakes for the Discord Q&A. And also remember that over on the Patreon, the Snakes and Crocs tier is available this month only. If you subscribe at the Snakes and Crocs tier, you get a Snake Month sticker, and your donation to us, your support of us, will contribute to charitable donations we will be making toward reptile conservation at the end of the summer, specifically to the organizations Save the Snakes, Crocodile Research Coalition, and the Natural Resources Defense Council. All very fun stuff. Any numerology relating 716 to snakes? I don't think so. I appreciate immensely that Croc Day is 617 and Snake Day is 716.
Yep.
That is so convenient and delightful.
What's the word for that?
I don't know of any reason.
Read it both ways.
Yes. I don't know any reason that 6, 1, and 7 are more croc or snake related than other numbers. But I guess 7 is kind of like a croc, like a mouth, and 6 is kind of coiled. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the number. There's the number links. Check out all that stuff. And there was something else that I was going to say that I forgot what it was. Bricks with Basque is also a thing that happens. And for Croc and Snake Month, Bricks with Basque, there are Croc and Snake related builds.
Yeah. We did monitor lizards last month, and I have the set built, and I just need to finish putting the episode together for the build episode this month, which is Croc E. It's not full Croc because I already did Croc builds early in the year, so I cheated.
Sure.
And so for fairness, it's a little less crocky.
Yes. Bricks with Basque, Will's Lego building channel, is here on the Common Ascent channel. So you can watch, there's a whole playlist. There's like, I don't know, 20 episodes or something at this point. Bricks with Basque has been going for a bit.
Yeah. Yep. And yes, palindrome. Thank you.
And a yes, palindrome.
It is a numerical palindrome.
Huh. It is a numerical palindrome.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting.
Which two
Cool.
Pokemon are we? I know this has probably come up, but I can't remember.
Oh, 617 is Excelgor,
Okay.
which is the like speedy bug, which is not very Croc
Not particularly
related.
Nope.
That's not a great. I can't really think of any way to link
Yeah.
Excelgor to Crocs, but you'll be happy to know that 716 is Xerneas, which is not remotely snake related.
Nope.
So
nope. All right.
Just so we're even.
Yeah. Yep.
We're even on the
Listen.
on the not lining up.
It's Crocs and snakes can go against type and like some random Pokemon.
Absolutely. Xerneas is like lots of places to like crawl around in the antlers, and Excelgor is probably delicious. Listeners, thank you so much for joining us for this and the last live stream. Check out all the Snake Month stuff, and if you missed any of the Croc Month stuff, go check that out. Check out the Croc Month live stream archived here on YouTube. Check out our bonus episode with Maddie talking about alligator research. And listen to the Gariels episode. You can't go and check out the Croc Chat because it's closed until next year. Come back in June.
It slumbers.
But you can check out all that other stuff. It's closed for now. And once they're closed, it's hard to open.
Yep.
That's the trouble with Crocs, is that once the chat is closed. All that being said, I am fairly confident now that the Snake live stream has gone on longer than the Croc live stream.
Yeah, no, I was paying. Yep.
So we are safe to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I did. It was a while back where I was like, energy is like, maybe we wind down soon. And I was like, how long was because I want them to be like similar,
yes,
and I looked and I was like, oh no, we got to beat that. We got to beat that for sure.
Compensating much.
As is our rightful place. I think also that Vipers is for sure longer than Gariel's as an episode. And I think that maybe our bonus Snake episode is longer than the bonus Croc episode.
I think so.
Although I don't, off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
I cannot remember.
So all is right with the world. Let's do a quick. How long is this Croc episode? Yeah, I think it is. Aha! Take that. Incredible. Well, with all that said, let's get out of here. Thank you, everybody. Happy Snake Month. Join us in the near future for more snake stuff, and in the far future for more other stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Bye, everybody.
Toodles.